You know, we've all been there, right? Sitting in a science class, just kind of staring at a textbook, feeling like our brains are turning to mush. But what if you could learn something like optics by, I don't know, breaking out of a laser-filled escape room? Well, today we're going to deconstruct a really brilliant piece of science communication that does exactly that. It turns a potentially dry physics lesson into a super addictive game. I mean, just listen to that. That's the hook. It's not a definition, it's a challenge. Zap, bounce, hit. It's all action. Right away, this feels like an adventure, not a lecture. It's basically saying, hey, come on in and play. And this gets right to the heart of the matter. How do you explain something abstract, like the law of reflection? I mean, you can't hold it, you can't touch it. Well, the answer is you have to turn it into a puzzle, something physical, something hands-on that your audience can actually build and solve for themselves. So what was their solution? The Laser Maze Challenge. It's this simple do-it-yourself project that perfectly wraps up the whole lesson. Let's take a look at how it actually works. And this right here, this is just genius. See, it's not just a demonstration, it's an escape room. That one little change in how you frame it transforms the entire activity. You're not just passively observing light, you're actively using your brain to help it escape. That gamification, that's the secret sauce. It's what makes the science really stick. Okay, so let's pop the hood and break down the blueprint. Because look, a great educational game can't be a huge pain to set up. If it is, you'll lose people before they even start learning. The real beauty of this whole thing is just how simple the parts are. And just look at this list of materials. A cardboard box, some craft mirrors, or even just aluminum foil, a cheap laser pointer. There are no fancy, expensive lab kits here. The barrier to entry is basically zero, which means pretty much anyone can become a physics whiz for an afternoon. The setup itself is just as easy, broken down into these 4 really clear steps. You build the walls, you angle the mirrors, you set the target, and then, and this part is key, you're encouraged to add your own twists. It takes you from a basic setup and pushes you into this creative space where you can really start to experiment. You know how every good puzzle has a secret, right? There's always a key that unlocks the whole thing. Well, in this game, that secret just happens to be a fundamental law of physics. This is how the learning gets woven so seamlessly into the fun. So here it is in all its glory, the law of reflection. Now, if I read you the definition, the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection, your eyes might glaze over a little bit. It's accurate for sure, but it doesn't exactly scream fun, does it? But just watch how they translate this. Boom, just like that. It's instantly boiled down to this simple, super memorable rule, angle in equals angle out. That's it. This is exactly how great science communication works. You take that formal, complex idea and you turn it into the simple, intuitive rule of the game you're playing. And this line just ties it all together beautifully. The script reframes that scientific law as the clue. The fact that light bounces in a predictable way isn't just some boring fact. It's the very thing that makes the escape room solvable. The science isn't an obstacle you have to overcome. It's your secret weapon to win the game. All right, so we've got the puzzle and we've got the science. But how do you keep people hooked? You know, how do you get them coming back for more? Well, that's where the engagement engine comes into play, turning what could be a one-time thing into a game you can play over and over. It all starts with being able to scale the difficulty. The script suggests using 5 to 10 mirrors. Why? Well, because that simple little variable lets you control how hard it is. You can start with a really easy 3-mirror win, and then you can work your way up to this crazy 10-mirror monster. It keeps the game from getting old or too frustrating. And then you get to the level boss modifications. I love these. They're awesome because they really push you to think creatively. What happens if you make the laser beam a rainbow? What if one of the mirrors is moving? What if you have to hit multiple targets? See, every single twist is like a whole new scientific variable you get to explore. And here is the really crucial point. These twists are not just for fun. They are the next part of the lesson. They push you past just knowing the law of reflection and get you to start truly experimenting with it, applying it in new creative ways. And that's where the real deep learning kicks in. Last but not least, and honestly, this might be the most important part of making educational content today, the script doesn't just stop when the puzzle is solved. It uses those final moments to build a real sense of community and keep the learning going.
So let's break this down. It's asking for engagement. Comment your solution. It's offering a reward. Shoutouts for the best escapes. It's creating a little urgency. Build one now, solve it tonight. It's asking for feedback and building hype for what's coming next. Literally every single one of these lines is designed to keep the conversation going.
And the ultimate goal here is just so powerful. It's all about turning someone who's just passively watching into an active creator. Someone who doesn't just watch, but who builds and solves and shares what they made and becomes part of a community. All of a sudden, learning isn't a lonely thing anymore, it's a social activity we're all doing together. And really, that brings us to the big takeaway here. This laser maze is a perfect template. It proves that with just a little bit of creativity, you can take almost any abstract idea and make it tangible, interactive, and, genuinely fun. So the question I'll leave you with is this: what complex idea could you turn into a simple game?